Hello, my loves. Deanna here from Deanna.org. I wanted to come on today because I have a bit of time to, I wanted to do a live, and then I was sitting and meditating with Spirit with regards to what should we do today. There's quite a few things that I could talk about. And then I picked up my cards and I did this chakra reading for myself, and I thought, oh, that's really interesting. Let's do one for the awakened collective specifically. I was initially going to do one for just like a more generic one for the collective, but I decided to go with the awakened collective specifically energy, or energy specifically. But before we do that, let's do a little bit of stillness so that we can receive wisdom from our higher selves, from our highest potential, and watch the video intro with some beautiful light codes. Enjoy. Welcome back. Okay, so I had mentioned this before, but I'm going to mention it again, that beautiful light code activation that I have in the video intro was actually specifically created for me by this extraordinary man that makes these mandalas, and I'm going to put his details or a link to his page in the comments after I'm finished, so that you can go and check out some of the work that he does. It's truly extraordinary. Okay, so moving on. More recently, or certainly throughout 2020, there were some really interesting activations, shifts in the collective consciousness, and some or much of the old foundational stuff began to collapse in 2020 more evidently. So obviously this had been happening, or at least preparing to happen, for some time. But last year we really began to see or witness the collapse of the old, certainly the beginning phases. And here's what's really interesting about that this doesn't only apply to the overall general collective consciousness and the old 3D matrix. I witnessed a collapse also, or certainly beginning stages of the of what was the more traditional type spiritual community. Some of the old foundations of what it meant to be part of a spiritual family or a tribe began to collapse as well. And we saw a lot more of the polarity consciousness within these communities. And what I want to do today, what my intention is today, is to do a quick reading on where that energy is, but I want to channel it through the energetic portals of chakras. So I'm going to use the traditional tarot, Rider-Waite tarot, and I'm going to, well, I don't need to call in anything because they're already here. They've been talking to me, or Divine Spirit has been talking to me, for hours already. So I'm going to go ahead and connect with the base or root chakra of the awakened collective. So what I'm doing is I'm tuning in to the energetic band, the frequency band, and I'm calling in information from the root chakra portal. So root chakra, of course, being about earthly matters, primarily, I actually want to say specifically about feeling safe and grounded in the physical plane. I have witnessed a real shake-up in this way, a real kind of shake-up of faith even, that light workers or the awakened collective, the way showers, the twin flame collective, star seeds, and, you know, the list goes on, that there's been a real shake-up with regards to feeling safe in the physical, with regards to, oh my God, what's going to happen now? With regards to, are we going to survive? Where are we going? And all that sort of stuff. So this card is calling to me. Okay. I'm going to ask for one more while I channel the message. Okay, this one. Okay. Yeah. So the two cards that came up, so the first one that came up is the Seven of Pentacles. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This, one of the weaknesses, if you will, of the spiritual awakened community that came forth to be observed is this unconscious, still this unconscious need to fix, to control things, outcomes in specifically through whether it be prayer or meditation or whatever, and being really invested in certain specific outcomes. And so what this card is telling us is that the seeds of intention, of the collective intention, the seeds that we planted as a collective with regards to where we want to go and how we want our world to look, the save, what are the components, the pentacles, that are going to make us feel like we live in a safe, loving, environmentally friendly, caring, intelligent, spiritually intelligent way on the planet. What we want that to look like, we've planted those seeds, but we are being reminded, because we've drawn a 7. 7, of course, is also a highly spiritual number. We are being reminded that those seeds are still under the ground and they are still forming. The plant life is forming. We haven't broken quite through the ground in terms of being able to fully harvest those seeds that we have planted. And so there's still a little bit of, waiting, and specifically divine timing are the words that I'm hearing. And so remember in the beginning I was talking about there was, I observed kind of this, a shaking up of faith when things don't turn out the way we think they will. And a consequent, a consequent, a kind of falling apart, certainly emotionally, with regards to, outcomes that have manifested that couldn't be controlled because divine timing is not quite there yet. So in terms of our physical world, in terms of the themes connected to the base chakra, the awakened community is being reminded that the seeds are planted, but there is divine timing, and all illusions of control of how it's going to play out, when it's going to play out, any illusions or superficial expectations about being able to influence globally or even potentially universally on a large scale at the moment is not going to happen. And all of this rubbish, whether it's internal or external, battle and argument and frustration, is pointless. It's completely pointless. And all it really does is it creates more friction. See, every time these wands connect, they create, you know, like metal sparks metal against metal, and you know, two sticks of wood really hurt and they make a noise. So it's just noise. It's just bleh. So maybe call on a little bit more faith, internal faith, and stillness is what's required. And the other word that I'm hearing is contemplation, so that these seeds can really be nurtured. So again, focus on the seed, contemplate the seeds of intention, and not on the external battle. All right, that's the base chakra. That was a really big message. Let's go to the sacral chakra. Okay, sacral chakra for the collective. Holy moly. Okay, well, I don't even need to pull anything else. Check that out. The love has come out for the sacral. And immediately I'm hearing that the biggest potential, where is the biggest potential of embodiment in terms of, hang on, the awakened community with a balanced, open, harmonized, not overactive or underactive, self-deprecating sacral, but an open, balanced, and harmonized sacral can now birth, right, the harmony and balance between the feminine and masculine, and give birth to this new world that incorporates our divine self. Now is the time. We are not wrong about that, but this is about having planted the seed, right, about our physical existence and the evolution. We now get to fall pregnant. And the gestation period, that 9 months or however long it takes to move into the next phase, right, is what is completely open to us at this phase, at this time. So metaphorically speaking, we can now be pregnant. We can now fall pregnant with that intention, having planted the seed for the physical. But the point of gestation is still yet to happen. But these channels are open. Of course, the highest potential for the sacral chakra in terms of an archetype is that of the Empress. So where the Empress is so fertile, she has moved away from purely physical things, and she now understands how to nurture herself and then fall pregnant with this beautiful intention. How to invite that energy of creation into herself. And so it's almost like as if Gaia has pitched in here. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Gaia has pitched in and said, yeah, bring it on. I'm ready to receive this. These intentions you plan are high vibrational. They're beautiful. It's where we are going. Your instinct, your insight, your intuition is on board, and I'm ready to receive it. We are ready for that to come in. But that's still not the outcome. That's part of the journey. There's a whole gestation period now in front of us of the new before it can be birthed. Now let's see, do we have the courage to do this? To hold this intention, to have the core strength to carry through with these intentions? Can we hold this pregnancy? Can we keep the pregnancy? Or do we energetically miscarry? What does the solar plexus chakra say? Oh, the other thing that I'm reminded to mention as well is that this is about self-love. The lovers here are first and foremost the lovers between the feminine and the masculine within you, within the individual, first and foremost. So those seeds are planted and gestating, or they're certainly open potentials and connections to this possibility. Okay. So in the solar plexus, do we have the strength and the courage to go through with this? Well, the divine says that I'm right here with you. I'm here to support you. But for some reason, collectively, or the awakened collective, seems to think that we've been somehow ignored, abandoned, betrayed by the divine. And we literally feel left out in the cold. What the bloody hell? Seriously. Definitely our faith is shaken. See how this is connected to what I was saying in the base chakra? We are wounded. It's as if we've just come out of, there's like a timeout between spiritual World War I and spiritual World War II. There's been somehow some sort of a war, and then, we feel left out in the cold. And that's really sad when it's like right there. And 5 out of the 7 pentacles, right, are well into their gestation period. See how they're connected? Forming sacred geometry. The formation is already there. Oh. Have we lost hope? Let me just clarify with another card. Okay. The card we got is the Temperance. That's the clarifier. And so what I'm actually seeing here is I'm actually seeing that the void between the human and the divine is tempering. So where the polarity, so something along these lines, where the polarity used to be massive, or the differences used to be, massive, we've now, through this process, begun to reconcile some of those false expectations and illusions of control, and let go a little bit of how it has to be. And in order to allow, it's not that we have it wrong, but we need to allow the process to take shape and evolve the way it needs to, as opposed to controlling the steps. We need to let go of the steps, but we have it, according to these cards, we have the intention right. We have planted the right seeds. But just the journey in between, there's recovery, there's healing, there's letting go, and there's the allowing. This time, tempering is the process that needs to happen, which is why we have the Seven of Pentacles in the base chakra, grounding. So divine timing is still taking place because this process is underway. The process of tempering and alchemy from one form or one cup into another. And this is a divine process. This is not something that is of human nature. Well, it is of nature and of Mother Nature and divine nature, but not human nature as in mental process. Okay, let's go to the heart chakra, the awakened collective. The heart chakra, please. Speak to me, my love. Calling in also the higher heart that oh, really? All right. Yeah. All right. So 3 cards fell out, and it's the Tower, the 6 of Pentacles, and the Queen of Wands. Now, the Queen of Wands, this is really timely, is absolutely and completely about representing first of all, the divine feminine energy. Secondly, I'm feeling a Leo energy here really strongly. Leo, of course, being about the heart chakra. And so if we've got the heart chakra represented through the archetype of Leo and the feminine, the lioness, okay. So the words that I'm hearing is the changing of the guard, or the throwing off one crown. It's a little bit like Game of Thrones, really. One throne is falling apart and being thrown off to be replaced by a different king and queen, by different royalty. And the royalty, of course, we are talking about is self-mastery. Well, self-mastery. It's like being able to be your own lover. Have that internal, intimate relationship within yourself, between your masculine and the feminine, really learning how to master this. Because when aspects within us collaborate successfully, we get this harmony, interaction. And I'm specifically hearing here or seeing the energy of give and take. No blocks, no roundabouts, no stepping over or under, an ease, a flow, an organic exchange between polarities, a collaboration, because it is this collaboration that allows that exchange and the pregnancy to occur so that we can birth new earth, Now I'm rhyming, yo. I'm sorry. Let me have a drink and stop rhyming. I'm also hearing that we will, well, a couple of other things. As the old foundations, the old top-down rule and the old way of doing anything really dies or collapses, we are really being asked to learn more about this give and take, about this balance and harmony. See, there's the scales. And this is actually not so much about the beggar and again, someone wealthier or better off. This speaks to me more about that higher perspective, about having that inner balance, right? Having the higher perspective and then receiving, where am I? See? Receiving from the highest perspective, from the highest potential, in balance and harmony. Because we've now moved from, see there, feeling like we're left out in the cold, to 6, which is 1 up. See, blue, yellow. And we're now in recovery and looking to balance and receive that abundance. This is a really beautiful story. So there is a really deep shift of anchoring divine knowing, it seems, in the awakened community, so that it's not just these airy-fairy concepts of righteousness and right and wrong and still speaking, living being in polarity, but it's shifting to wholeness within, so that that wholeness can then be reflected in the world that we are living in, without the need to have these arguments and try and prove somebody right or wrong, because it's actually irrelevant. It's just an experience. Polarity is how we learn, but it's not how we evolve necessarily fully. What was it that I said? I did a video the other day. Yeah, to transcend, we don't disown, we dissolve. So dissolve energetic charge, dissolve and collapse timelines, not disown them and walk away. Or make fun or point fingers or any of that stuff. All right, what am I doing? Throat chakra. All right, what is our capacity to be in our truth? What is our capacity to express that truth in a divine way? Having taken the journey of the chakras, having embodied many of those energies, how are we able to not just hold our truth, but express Okay. Well, according to this, we're not expressing that much, but we are choosing to put the old down because it's too heavy now. This burden's too much. And of course, the ones representing the fire element and therefore spirituality. This is about putting down the heavy burdens of spiritual expectation, the illusion that we are here to save the world somehow, as opposed to save ourselves. And those illusions that somehow we have failed or let this world down by last year not turning out the way we wanted to. Be really careful with that inner dialogue, my loves. Like really, really careful. Because what you're actually doing with that is you're actually calling in. You, first of all, you are allowing the inner judge Judy, inner judge Judy. Oh my Lord. Oh, that was Mikey, by the way. He's really funny. Inner judge and jury to come in and persecute you for a mission that was never actually just yours. That's number one. And so what then happens is when you judge yourself as not good enough or having failed in some way, or, you know, not achieved some sort of a divine outcome or whatever the fuck goes on through the ego mind, in the mind matrix, then of course it makes it really easy to judge others when you give yourself permission to judge yourself. So it's time to let that go. Put those burdens down. Enough is enough. Enough spiritual judgment. Putting those burdens down so that the transmission coming through the throat chakra, right, outwards, from all centers, but specifically with what we say, is with intent in every present moment. It is considered as opposed to reactive. And if you need to pause to put your words and your thoughts and your feelings together, then that is what you do. I do this all the time. You see me do this all the time. So we've got our back turned to the old. We've picked up our shit and we are hopefully putting it down so that we can speak differently. All right, let's have a look at the third eye, our high intelligence or divine intelligence and intuition and our capacity. Okay, well, oh, wow. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So now I want to say, oh, hang on, this way. When we put that shit down, we're going to move more to this really beautiful embodying our inner child, our divine self that just is in, like, just blissed out with the potential of this journey, with the potential of the creation. And see, we come back to that child. And here we are falling pregnant, and then through the journey of gestation, and maybe this is the birth in the heart chakra. We put the shit down and we are reborn. Look at that child. Look at that happy illumination. The sun. The source of our creation, amongst other things. Beautiful. Beautiful right here. Oh, hang on. Can this work? Oh, shit. No, maybe. Nope, not going to work unless I spit on it, which I don't want to. Whew. Isn't that beautiful? We will rebirth. We will have this really beautiful, beautiful beginning. Extraordinary beginning. And we know it. We see it. It's right here. It's that divine knowing. It's the divine intelligence. And the thing is that this divine intelligence, this center, I feel so connected to this Aquarius energy that we are in at the moment. If you can see it, you can feel it, you can birth it. I can see it, I can feel it, I can birth it because I'm in alignment with that knowing. Oh, so good. Oh. Okay, let's check out the crown. Is anything gonna come out for this? Do we even need a message from our crown? Or has the crown... Oh, hang on. There's a card in the Carl Gray deck. Angel prayers that is calling to me for the crown chakra. Let's see what message comes in. Okay, there we go. A validation. It is and look at that. Look at that. We ask for the crown and the crown comes out. Express your creativity. Thank you, angels, for helping me to express my inner creator. Hasn't that been the theme? This is completely validation that what we are wanting to create in this new earth or for this new earth. Yeah, that way? Maybe then. I'm just being silly because I'm so excited about this. This is really beautiful. Is on par. We are on par. There's no need to be afraid. There's no need to argue. We have not been abandoned. We are being asked to put down illusions of grandeur as spiritual light workers, because there are many. Fake belief systems around somehow we have control over how, what, and when things are going to come to pass over and above divine timing. So we're being asked to put that, if we can get out of our own way, if we can allow the ego mind matrix to collapse. And when I say ego mind matrix, I'm specifically talking about those fake belief systems and programs that somehow lead you to believe that, on some level we can rescue, we can save. We all have a part to play, but the focus is never external, it's always internal. And it's absolutely here to support us. This is really beautiful. I wonder if there's a further message. I've never actually read the book of this deck. Express your creativity. Let's see. All right. Uh-huh. All right. Yep. So the aspect of this card that I'm being reminded of, or to share, or asked to share, is one that is the answer to a question that is coming up. I don't know, you might be hearing, or asking yourself. And the question is, well, how the bloody hell do I do this? How do I put these burdens down and these expectations, right? So this card talks about that you as a being, as a creator or a creative being, are being encouraged at this time to focus on your passions, on your projects. Forget focusing on what other people are doing. Forget focusing on the news. Focus on your project. So, for example, there's a lot of pain right now, of course. Oh my goodness. Of course, around, children that are being sold, slave labor, and just horrendous things. And of course, still Black Lives Matter and the Me Too movement, all of those sorts of things that have come to our awareness on the global scale over the last bit, right? And so if you are, of course, moved by that and you resonate as someone that needs to do some activism or something, focus on the project of activism. Focus on that passion, as opposed to focusing on convincing others that your truth is the truth. That creates more of this. Oops. Oh my goodness. More of that. And the expectation of right, wrong, black, white, blah, blah, creates more of this if things don't turn out the way you imagine them. So there's a feeling of lack, let down, abandonment, betrayal, blah, blah, blah. We want to stay away from that by really focusing on this and on being the creative person and really being focused on the passion itself, the passion for activism, the passion for a project, for healing, for helping people, for helping yourself. So if you are a healer and a helper, the first thing you have to do is heal yourself in order to be able to help heal anybody else, right? All of those sorts of things. So pulling back our energy from outward to inward. Okay, that's the reminder. I wanted to talk to you about so much more, but I have already spoken for 43 minutes. And yeah, I feel like I need to mention this. Okay. There is I'm really feeling this, and then I'm told that this is a reflection of something that needs to happen collectively. So I'm being asked or told to ask you to Google and have a look at, so if you just type in lymphatic system, have a look at where the glands are of your lymphatic system, right? The lymph nodes and glands help move energy and nutrients around your body. Lymphs are I feel like I'm going to I don't feel confident to repeat the information that I'm seeing, but what I want to say, I'm going to say it this way. Okay, this is what I'm seeing. It's like a chain or a clump of, protein chains or some sort of a chain of molecules that is meant to freely flow through your system to help detox, to help get rid of water and nutrients and things you don't need anymore, right? Help move things around. But the drainage. So essentially it's a process of draining your fluid that you don't need anymore, or fluid that's being transferred within your bloodstream, etc., right? It's connected to the emotional body. And so, for example, one way to describe it, I don't know whether you've ever noticed that when you cry, your eyes sort of swell up, the glands swell up around here. Yeah. And then there's also nodes at the back of the neck, under the armpits, around the pelvic area, behind the knees, behind and around the knees, around the bone, and feet. I don't know about you, but it is... I actually have this. In fact, I need to now stand up a little bit. I have this inherited really like shitty circulation thing going on in my family, and my legs swell up if I'm sitting down for too long. But recently this has really been bad. Like, so I've had so much swelling and aches that come along with this. Some of it is propelled by this energy. And some of it is really just by default because it's very humid and shitty here in Sydney. I really hate it. No, I don't hate. I actually really just don't enjoy it. Let's put it that way. But here's what the message was around the lymphatic system. The message was that the swelling represents, or sort of any kind of dysfunction in the lymphatic system. If you notice it within your body, it will reflect some sort of an energetic block in the emotional body. So there is a component of emotional intelligence that gets stuck in the glands and the nodes of the lymphatic system. That requires, one of the things that it requires literally like elevation, yeah, of your foot or your pelvic muscle or whatever. It requires, I'm hearing, doing things that are more joyful, so that the hormones created from happiness and joy will help move some of those things. More hydration, so more water. And the other thing that I'm really hearing, which is really interesting, is that the planet Uranus, the planet of shock and sudden change, needs a better or purer water environment within the body, because it's helping bring in not just a larger quota of light, but a larger quota of that crystalline energy that's helping us move from the carbon-based DNA structure more into that crystalline DNA structure. And that's really huge. Like I didn't know. So all of those sorts of things are going to come up for us, and some of us more so than others. It doesn't feel so subtle to me. But I don't know, how are you guys going? How does all of this feel in your body? Have you noticed anything? But seriously, do a little bit of research, just a couple of minutes. Just Google, like type in lymphatic system and get a sense, have a look at pictures so that you know where those points are, because it'll be important as things are happening for you. The lymphatic system is really active right now because it's helping us purge and clear out more of our emotional body so that we can have more emotional self-mastery, given how, you know, the foundations of that were shaken last year so much. And there was a lot of emotional reactiveness. And we are learning more to respond now and really settle into that observer perspective. Okay. Whew. Any questions, my loves? Yeah, in other words, just from the perspective of, you know, like this next stage of evolution, my attention is also being taken to, you know, like falling pregnant with a new, and of course the swelling that's associated with pregnancy, with the gestation process. So keeping an eye out, and having a conscious connection and awareness with your lymphatic system can help you have more awareness around which aspects of you are being shifted, if there are any blocks, if there's anything additional that you need to do, you know, like extra water and all of that sort of stuff. I'm sure. Why does that card keep falling? What more do you want from me? Oh, and by the way, one of the things that there's a couple of things that can help you release more, as in physically release when you're detoxing. So I'm taking a couple of things. The first one is a large dose of celery. It's basically just a vitamin that you can buy from any health food store. But the other thing, and I don't know if this is available, like, you know, versions of it around the world, but it's a mineral compound and a little bit like homeopathic medicine. It is nat sulf, other words known as water eliminator, Schussler tissue salts. So like I said, it's a mineral based formulation, and it's really good and very cheap actually here in Australia. And so this is really helping me eliminate those things that are being stuck within my body. Very, very old things, my gosh. And sometimes when I shift blocks, so for example, something I may have had a block like in this area or something, like something old, and then so that clears and then it shifts. And what I find is that as the block shifts, or as I move on to the next phase of detoxing, my mood shifts, like, and the energy from the mood takes me to those timelines where the block originated from. And it's really fascinating. It's just fascinating. Anyway, truly, I have to tell you that if you are really paying attention to your journey, if you're really learning to pay attention to yourself holistically, as in mind, body, emotion, quantum, Because remember, in this one sentence, I mentioned all the different aspects. You don't have time to do this, to argue with other people, because your own journey speaks in such volumes, and it's so fascinating. Those moments are spectacular, and then you draw to yourself those that are, you know, on the like frequency, so that you can maybe share, teach, do whatever you need to do with that information that you have learned. But certainly getting into arguments and all that shit's just absolute waste of time. All right, my loves, I'm done. If you don't have any questions for me or anything you would like to say to me, oh, here's one more thing. I had a conversation with a person that's really good on social media, does social media for a living. And the current algorithms that are going around have less to do with likes and comments and more to do with, if you like a video, then save it or somehow flag it on your profile or share it. So I want to ask you humbly, if these messages from Spirit resonate with you, please share this video so that we can get this stuff out to other people that may need to hear this, or that may be curious about, you know, messages that are coming in for the awakened collective through those chakra portals. And then, of course, this wisdom around the lymphatic system, which is just fascinating to me. Okay, my loves, I'm going to go now. Hey, Lisa. Hello, my love. Okay. I think I'm going to be done now, and I'm going to go. Bye. Mwah. Love you so much. Bye. No. Hang on.